We are doing NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Sunday, October 30th. Before we get started, there's a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks, or you can use promo code TUFF to sign up. PrizePicks will match 100% of your first deposit. There is also a Discord link in the description below where we have a super strong community, over 1,000 members, as well as a Patreon link where I give all the player props here that I'm making on PrizePicks for each given sport: NFL, college football, and NBA. By the time this video goes live, there should be some Patreon plays live. Obviously, as we get closer to kickoff Sunday, I'll have my full slate of Patreon plays live. But yeah, Sunday slate here, October 30th. Two total player props that I do like. For this Sunday slate, obviously this is going to be the morning and the afternoon games. I should have a separate video for the Sunday Night Football, and then obviously a separate video for Monday Night Football. But let's get into it. Again, I'm not a gambling expert, not financial advice. These are simply just the plays I'm personally looking at making, hopefully giving you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player props here. But let's get into it. The first one that I like is going to be DJ Moore, and I like his over 12 fantasy score. Now, DJ Moore, having an extremely underwhelming season, has hit this only twice this year. Had 12.1 fantasy points against Arizona, and then last week against Tampa Bay had 19.6. But I like this play for a variety of reasons. One, last week with Philip Walker, PJ Walker as the quarterback, he played pretty well. I mean, against Tampa Bay, they won 21-3. No Christian McCaffrey now in this offense to, take, I guess, looks away from DJ Moore. Not that he really took too many away, but just schematically, I mean, DJ Moore is the main target, the main focus now of this offense, in my opinion. You can see he really out-targeted everyone by 7 targets. I mean, Terrence Marshall had 3 targets and caught 2 of them, but DJ Moore, last week, without Christian McCaffrey, PJ Walker as his quarterback, 10 targets, 7 receiving yards, and 69 yards, and a touchdown. Right, so he had 19 fantasy points. We dating back to last year against the Falcons. DJ Moore faced him twice. He had a game where he got 8 targets, 4 catches for 59 yards, and then 10 targets for 6 catches for 84 yards. But just take a look at this, right? The Falcons this season giving up the most fantasy points to wide receivers, 30 fantasy points per game to wide receivers. The second most receptions to wide receivers at 113. The most receiving touchdowns to wide receivers at 11. And the second most targets to wide receivers at 168. Okay, so we're going to smash spot here for DJ Moore. Also, AJ Terrell out for Sunday, right? This has already been confirmed right here. All-pro cornerback AJ Terrell is out for Sunday's game versus Carolina due to a hamstring injury. So that would be the only reason why, in my opinion, you would shy away from DJ Moore with the coverage of AJ Terrell. But now with him being ruled out of this game, no AJ Terrell, highest fantasy points per game to wide receivers, coming off a game where he had caught 7 passes for 10 targets, 7 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. We look at how wide receivers have done already this year against the Falcons. Just going crazy, right? Look how many guys who have over 5 catches, right? Michael Thomas, Donovan Peoples-Jones, DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, all have been very, very productive against the Atlanta Falcons at the wide receiver position. Again, no AJ Terrell, I think, is the strongest catalyst for this, in my opinion. I mean, regardless of matchup, when a shutdown corner is not playing in this game, it's going to give a lot of opportunity for that wide receiver. So no Christian McCaffrey, no AJ Terrell, 10 targets in his last game, 19 fantasy points in his last game. Top matchup possible for him as far as the team fantasy points per game to the position. Extremely low here, in my opinion. I think recency bias here shows that people don't believe in DJ Moore. I mean, we're talking about a guy who has had like 4 straight years of 1,000 yards receiving. And I also think a possible catalyst for this being a strong play as well is that if he does get traded, this is going to be that last game for the Panthers to really showcase and increase his value as much as possible here. So I like DJ Moore over 12 fantasy score against the Atlanta Falcons. And again, I do want to mention, if these lines do bump, like if you're watching this video and you go to check out the prop and this line has bumped up, leave a comment below, because I mean, there's really nothing I can do as being like a player prop content creator or player prop YouTuber. Like, it's tough in general to get these videos out and have these player props bump, or while I'm making videos the player props will bump. So keep that in mind. But I like DJ Moore 12 fantasy score over here against the Atlanta Falcons. Sunday is going to be Derrick Henry, and I'm going to take his over 100.5 rush yards here against the Texans. Now, Derrick Henry this season against the Texans, or Derrick Henry in general this season, last 3 games has gone over 100 rushing yards, 114, 102, and 128 in his last 3 games, 22, 28, and 30 rushing attempts in these last 3 games as well. But he has an absolute smash spot here against the Houston Texans. Now, running backs versus the Texans this season, we've seen Josh Jacobs go for 143, Khalil Herbert go for 157, and Jonathan Taylor go for 161. We also saw Javonte Williams go for 75, splitting the timeshare with Melvin Gordon, as well as Travis Etienne go for 71, splitting the timeshare with James Robinson. So running backs have been feasting against the Houston Texans all season long. Defense first position, 5.28 yards per carry here. Overall rushing yards per game, total rushing yards 813. Rushing attempts against the Texans as well, 154. Fantasy points, the Texans giving up the most fantasy points to the running back position as well. If we take a look at this too, Derrick Henry in his career versus the Texans has 4 games over 100 rushing yards and 3 games over 200. 211 in 2019, 212 in 2020, and last season had 250, or I guess, yeah, last season had 250 rush yards here. 250, so 3 games over 200 in his career. Take a look at this tweet. Derrick Henry's last 3 games versus Houston, 250, 212, 211, and Houston Texans gash rate this season, percentage of runs that go for 10 plus yards. The Houston Texans have the highest gash rate in the NFL at 17.02. Absolute smash spot here for Derrick Henry. I think should be some positive game script as well for the Titans. But I can't see a situation where he goes under 100 yards in this game against the Houston Texans. I feel like they're going to feed him 25 plus carries in this game. He's been feasting his recent 3 games here, gone over his last 3. Again, matchup is incredible. Had 3 running backs go for plus 140 already this season. And if you count these 3 timeshare backfields with Javonte, Melvin Gordon, and Etienne and Robinson, they combined for going over this number as well. So just a complete smash spot here for Derrick Henry. Running backs have been feasting. I just see there's no situation for him to go under 100 rushing yards in this game. Taking the over, Derrick Henry, 100.5 rush yards here against the Houston Texans. So these are the 2 total player props here that I'm playing for Sunday, October 30th. DJ Moore over 12 fantasy score, Derrick Henry over 100.5 rush yards. Again, if these lines do bump, leave a comment below in this video, and I'll tell you if I still like it or not. Again, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and as always, let's cash.